webinar is part of the Skill Future Month to focus on the job creation and of course on the skill competency. So what are the skills required to become relevant and also employable in today's context? So let me just play a video. Actually, the video is about our video of EA chapters. So let me just play the video.
Term 30 years ago was organization structure, org structure. Okay, but I want to have the digital map that I can ask. So if I tell you that you are Mr. So and you are from that department, so can I just open digital map? I want to know what is your role, and I can also find out which are the department that you are working closely in your enterprise. Okay, and I can also find out what actually your SOP, your day-to-day job. Okay, are you approving? If yes, you're who approving it? What processes do you do? And after that, I also want to know which IT system that's supporting that. Okay, if you can give me that answer in 5 minutes, you don't need EA. Done. Many people said EA is a project. I have done my EA 3 years ago. Here are the proof, right? And most of the case is that the EA that they have done is in a static book, okay, static deliverable. As soon as you printed that static book, immediately obsolete. The second part, many people think EA is can eliminate the complexity. Okay, the fact is not the word eliminating, but is managing. Okay, how can now we manage that complexity and we do better than the rest? The third one, of course, people say that enterprise architecture is only for IT team. Okay, that is totally the myth. It was correct 20 years ago. You talk about architecture word, pass it to the IT team. But now, the enterprise architecture involve, the stakeholders, key stakeholders, the decision maker. Then involve a motivation of all the divisional head and also strategy, capability of the business. If the company don't have this type of so-called adoption on the architecture concept, they will not go anywhere because the world is moving very, very fast. So how fast can you respond? That is the question that we need to ask. With the EA, you can respond it quite quickly because you know exactly that I need to change my entire product offering, and the digital map will tell you like the GPS, right? It tell you, okay, these are 20 processes impacted, these are 3 departments impacted, these are the IT system that need to change, and you quickly make a decision within a day. What are you going to do? Without EA, you still can make a decision that may take weeks or months, depending on how big is your enterprise. Moving forward, the complexities and the digital complexity is exponential, and there must be some way to manage this, and you cannot do it the way we used to do it in the past. The benefit is that networking, I think, is very, very important. We believe that we can learn. I don't think we claim that we know everything. That's why we need to get the input from the industry, and they can do some validation, like check and balance.
Okay, with that, let me just take about 2 slides to introduce who we are. So for those of you who are not a member of SES, so I would encourage you to join SES. And of course, when you join becoming a member of SES, please join our EA chapters. Yeah, so I have, of course, a selfish motive here. So let me just introduce about our objective. So our objective, actually, we want to accelerate the EA adoption as part of the digital culture, because we know that we are all heading towards digital, especially with the last 3 months that COVID-19 already turned our world upside down. So the digitalization is no longer a luxury, it's no longer an option, but it's the mandatory. So we need a lot of people to understand the concept of EA so that we can accelerate achieving towards a digital nation. And of course, secondly, is to equip people, you and me, with the right competency and the best practices. Because what happened is that when we are driving a digital transformation, we need to somehow unlearn and relearn those of us are already, working in the last few years, 10 years, unless you're newly born or maybe you are just teenagers, maybe it's already a native digital skill with you. But most of us, we need to unlearn and relearn. That's why we need to be able to adopt new practices. Of course, the third one is to alignment with the IMDA mission, that we want to create a local talents, because later on my presentation towards the end, I will show you a statistic about the jobs demand of architecture in Singapore. It's quite daunting to know that huge demand but no supply. So what happened is that, of course, now due to COVID-19, we cannot bring in a foreigner, but otherwise the foreigner will take over all our jobs in local market, especially on the architectural. That's why we need to build a local talent. And of course, the last part is that we need to grow a membership, because we need to work together, share the best practices on how we can support so-called digital initiative in our enterprise as well as in our nation. So these are the committee members. So I will not be going through each one of them, but you can get the feel that all the members are coming from a diverse vertical. Yeah, from the healthcare, from the banking, from gaming, from education, from aviation, from transport, as well as from technology vendors. So we are here to work together. So we are putting behind all our differences, and we work and talk about how best we can support the community in terms of the driving the EA adoption. So with that, I think I would like to hand over the time to Nelson. So Nelson will be presenting about his experience in going through digital transformation with enterprise architecture. Then after that, I will be doing a Q&A with him. And of course, in the same time, we also open up any question that you might have. You can just type in, then we will ask opinion or answer from Nelson. Let me just continue just now, the continuation into the topic 2. Okay, just now I mentioned about strong industry demand, about the demand of the architects globally as well as in Singapore. Okay, so I think this is one of the perspective on the by the CIO, CIO.com. Basically, it's enterprise architect as a digital transformer. I believe you watched a transformer movie before, like how the car can be turned into a robot, how the aeroplane, the train, all can be transformed. So the same thing now, the word of the digital transformation. So it's not by coincidence, like all the industry analysts are mentioning that enterprise architecture is actually connected with a successful digital transformation, or EA as a digital transformer. Of course, the next one about disruption. Disruption is coming now. And of course, if you have enterprise architecture, your business can survive because you can change straight away the strategy, your positioning, your model, your structure, and you can know straight away the impact. Because when you go through changes, you need to know all the parameters, you need to know all the impact. Yeah, so that's why it's a very, very important to have EA in fact, going through the digital disruption. The next one, of course, for innovation. So innovation is there. We have to drive the innovation, because in the today digital era or digital transformation, digital disruption everywhere, we need to innovate. Otherwise, our competitor will take over from our place. So it's very, very important there. The next one, of course, why you need so-called enterprise architect, because you need to so-called integrate between IT and business together to drive transformation. I think Nelson has pointed out this one from his experience. So definitely this CIO.com as well have done the research, and they found it, those successful organizations that has embarked into EA, they have a more integration between business and IT. Because what happened is that in the typical organization is that business and IT traditionally are separated. So if any issue that pop up in the system, definitely you ask the business people, we blame IT people. But if you ask the IT people will also blame business people, because they said they even didn't specify this requirement to us, right? But business people say that you should know by default. I don't need to tell you, right? So all these expectations are so-called popping up now and then in many enterprises today. So this is the numbers you can see on the right hand side. Estimated, I think around 6,000, but we qualified my numbers shortly. So of course the tech job also by ZenNet, why the enterprise architect is the new secret weapon. So it's something the role that emerging, but I think now gaining momentum. That's why now in the Singapore Computer Society, we also have the EA chapters, right? Otherwise, if the no industry demand, we will not come out EA chapters. It's no point for us to run the EA chapters, right? Then, of course, the next one is the scarce skill set in the big demand. So this is the reality of our world today. Is enterprise architect is very, very scarce, right? It's very, very difficult to hire. It's almost impossible to get a ready-made architect you can hire locally now. That's why I mentioned earlier that most of them are import professional, and we are going to grow the local talent. So this is the numbers that I've compiled this morning around 11 a.m., right? So of course, you may say that these numbers are, of course, one company can overlap. One company can advertise in the 3 and 4, right? With that assumption, we can slash the 6,000 become, say, 2,000. Or you want to think to be very, very conservative that I want to divide by 5, fine, still got 1,000 job, right? And this 1,000 job, of course, is not that having the real title architect, but the job requirement require architecture skill set. So this is what I'm trying to emphasize that this organization realize that someone that they hire now and in the near future, the person must know about architecture. At least they know the impact of the business IT integration. They know the impact how to come up with capability map, to develop a strategy, to capture the motivation, to so-called define the business landscape, to define application landscape, infrastructure landscape, as well as the solutioning. So all these are real numbers, and you can click this link. Anyway, the slide will be shared later. You can click this link. So even the numbers drop, maybe only drop 10 or 5. Because this is as fresh as 11 o'clock in the morning today. Yeah. So let me now go through into the body of knowledge. Because what happened is that you want to become an architect. I think that just now earlier got a question about how you become architects. What are the knowledge or skill set required? So let me just go through this with you. So in the SES, we actually have a joint certification program with ISA. So ISA is actually the global architecture professional body. So their main role or main objective in forming up this association is that to look after the architects. So the architect could be a business architect, could be an information architect, or you call it data architect, could be an application architect or software architect, infrastructure architect or technology architect, and solution architect. Okay. So then after that, they develop a body of knowledge. Body of knowledge is very, very important in any professional so-called professionalism. Because what happened is that it has a documentation of all the best practices, how to do a particular so-called task. So ISA already developed the body of knowledge, and the body of knowledge has been developed now already in the last 15 years. So now it's version 3. So they are quite matured, and they are capture almost all aspects of our enterprise today, especially now towards driving a digital transformation. So of course, the way they do the development of the body of knowledge, they're going through the qualitative analysis, quantitative. Then after that, they will create a contents and training and certification. So the certification now this year already about 12 years old. So the 12 years old certification for architect are still valid, are still in the big demand today. So in terms of the body of knowledge, actually mentioned just now that they have a so-called a specialization. For architects, they got the business architect, information architect, software, infra, and solution that I'm going through with you shortly in the next couple of slides. Then after that, I want to highlight on the pillar. Pillar is something that is very, very important. The first pillar, they call it business technology strategy. So this business technology strategy, today, what we call it is the digital strategy. In the past, we know that the organization, the team have developed a business strategy. Then after that, they got another team develop a technology strategy or IT strategy. Sometimes they call it IT plan. The other one, business plan. But now I think in the era of digital, they are so-called the forces that are requiring business and technology strategy to be one, to be together. Because what we call it digital strategy moving forward. Because technology or digital is now part of our enterprise culture. So it's very, very important for the skill set for any architect to have this business technology strategy competency. The second one is human dynamic. Human dynamic means about dealing with people, because what happened is that when you become an architect, you are mostly dealing with human being. I would say 80% of the job is dealing with human being. So only 20% that you are going to do a modeling, to develop the dashboard, develop the meta model, but 80% you deal with human. So it's very, very important that for architects to have a human dynamic competency, because otherwise you cannot communicate with human. I know that there's a husband and wife both working in IT, but normally they don't talk. Even if you see go to restaurant, yeah, if you notice that a couple that they don't talk, guarantee husband and wife. Typically they still chat, but by WhatsApp or by SMS or by email or etc. But they don't really talk in the human language. They're using devices to communicate, and this is not good. For architect, is we still need to talk human face to face. Even now in this pandemic era, we still need to communicate live and be able to talk. The next one is quality attribute. So quality attribute is something about the quality, maintainability, security, availability, or the with the utility, right? This one is very, very important for any design of architecture, because if anything break in terms of the quality attribute, it may so-called stop the whole business itself. Then the fourth pillar is IT environment. So IT environment here talking about governance, project management, IT service. This is very, very important. And we need to ensure that all these are incorporated into the architecture. And the last pillar is design. So design here is talking about modeling. All these we need to connect between business, information, software, infra, and solution with the design. What we call it a meta model. How do we connect this? So that any changes in the business, we know which are the software or information or infra are impacted. So hopefully this will give you a glance on the body of knowledge that SCS has adopted as part of this so-called SCS EA certification that I'm going to share with you shortly. All right, so this is a typical engagement of an architect. So typically architects are mandated to do the transformation. So the transformation could be from thought leadership, customer journey transformation, skill set transformation, information transformation, operating model transformation, as well as digital business transformation. So, architect expectation is quite high. That's why, as I mentioned, that we need to be trained. Some of the things we need to unlearn and relearn. So we need to look at what are the changes, the transformation that we can go through, in terms of operation, business, customer, and also employee. Yeah. So the middle part is architect that are playing a so-called, if it is a ball, when you press, so they got the air. The architect is the one that pumping so-called the oxygen to whole enterprise to run the transformation. So the definition about architects, let me just borrow from the building or the medicine. So they got the word art and science. So the art is where you are typically on the job training. Science is where you can learn from the book or from internet and etc. So the definition of architect is the art and science of designing and delivering valuable technology strategy for the business. So the target audience is the business. I think just now has been repeatedly mentioned by Nelson that many people think that architects must be highly technical. Actually, halfway through, but the other side as well, we also need to know business, how the technology can bring value to the business. So who can become an enterprise architect yesterday? So these are basically a minimum requirement. People typically ask about, you need to have 10 years, you need to perform multiple roles, such as a business role, a senior management role, governance role, development role, and etc. But this is another irony about the requirement. You must fail in a couple of large IT project or digital transformation project and burn millions of dollars, and you are not in Changi prison. So this is, unfortunately, is the reality of life. We haven't seen, let me know if you have ever come across in the Straits Times newspaper that someone jailed because failed a 2 million IT project. Nobody get jailed. Because what happened is that the more you are involved in the larger project, the more the next company want you to get involved in the next project. So it's an irony. But hopefully this one will be fixed and we can move forward that we don't need to fail in the last $1 million IT project. So who can become an enterprise architect today? So basically anyone who has some interest to become architects and having the understanding of the strategic business value of the technology relationship. And of course, with the body of knowledge, we can find someone. So you don't need to be 10 years, you don't need to be a consultant, you don't need to be gifted, you don't need to be a fail in the last IT project or transformation project. So basically can be guided. So let me now zoom in into the EA training courses and certification program. Yeah, so basically they got 5 specialization that are so-called now as the core joint certification for the SCS EA certification program. So let me just go through briefly describe, because just now I think still got some so-called question in terms of the what each architect is doing. So let me just summarize it quickly. Business architect. So business architect basically is someone who create and refine business architecture and on the business technology strategy. So what we call it a digital strategy today. And of course, he or she is the digital strategist and also knows technology as well as a business. So business architect is something that currently in the high demand, because what happened is that the transformation team need to have someone with this skill set, competency. Otherwise, they will just run a project. Because I many come across that many digital transformation team actually they are just executing a normal project, business as usual, with the title digital being added in everywhere. Yeah, so hopefully this is not the case in our environment today. And of course, business architect is also is enterprise troubleshooter and understand the application of the technology that may impact business capability. So this is basically with the digital map that we have, we should be able to identify where are the root cause of the problem. The next one is information architect. So information architect is basically someone who create and refine information architecture and on the data dictionary, taxonomy, or governance. And of course, we call it information strategies and design information structure to support the business. Of course, at this point in time, they got many questions. I believe later, I don't know, some of you asked, what's the difference between a data architect and data scientist? I wouldn't do a comparison, but these roles are playing at a different level. So data architect is working very closely with the key stakeholders and capturing the business needs or business requirement, whereby the data scientist is more on the execution into the project when the requirement is being defined. So data scientist will define where does the data come from, how do you format, how do you present, right? So of course they got some overlapping, like software engineer and software architect. Software engineer also need to know about business analysis, system analysis, but software architect actually playing at a different role because looking at the connectivity, the entire landscape end to end, and of course connect to the business. One thing that I think just now I have not highlighted, if you are not a full-time business architect, if you are information architect, software architect, or infrastructure architect, or solution architect, your secondary role must be a business architect. Yeah, I repeat. So if you are architect, not a full-time business, is not a full-time business architect, you are other architect, your secondary role must be a business architect because you need to relate all your solutioning, your information, your infrastructure to the business. Yeah. So basically, information architect, someone who can troubleshoot the information and of course understand the business decision-making process. That's why you need to find or work with the data scientist, how to get the data, how to format the data to present it to the business, to make it useful and relevant. The next one is software architect. I think software architect is quite mature. Many of us, if you are in the software development, you are pretty much already understand about the patterns, about all the so-called application, now of course microservices and etc. But one thing to highlight is that we need to understand connectivity and also need to support the business. That is the key word here, is supporting the business. So we need to identify any potential silo that may impact business process flow. The next one is the infrastructure. So infrastructure basically someone who own the server topology, network infrastructure, and data center with compute environment to ensure business continuity. Again, the word is business continuity. Whatever we do, we design the so-called infrastructure, be it in the cloud, private cloud, or the public cloud, or hybrid, etc. We need to ensure that business continuity is maintained or preserved, because otherwise we are interrupting or stopping the business. And of course, it is also called the technology strategist and design technology landscape to support the business. Yeah, so understand all the technology disruption that may impact business continuity. So this is in essence what is infra. So let me just zoom into the last architect, which is the solution architect. So solution architect actually is the someone who perform the role of architecture inside the project. So I repeat, yeah. So if you have someone that the project 6 months, you will need to assign the architect, so that architect is performing the role of solution architect, because the solution architect understand about the technology availability today, about the vendor capability, and how to map that, to apply that into the architecture that has been designed by the business, information, software, and infrastructure. So we call this person also IT strategist, and basically understand about system development and implementation to support the business. And of course, it is also the system troubleshooter. So understand the discrepancy between architecture building block and the solution building block that's supporting the business. So this is a typical solution architect. And of course, the word solution architect here is the one that often being abused in the industry, because many vendor also in the name card put solution architect.
but actually doing business development. But this is what we are talking about, solution architect, that you assign architect into the project. So in the project 6 months, maybe architect staying there for 3 months or 4 months, depending on the phases of the project. All right, so this I think the one that has been waiting for in terms of the SES. So you see all the training courses that has the SES. This is the one that have a joint certification. Basically, it's pretty much the SES EA certification program. Yeah. So let me just give you the highlight for the first one, the bottom there, Business IT Architecture Fundamental. So this course basically giving you alignment between what business understanding or business expectation with the IT team. So this is a very good course to for those enterprise that who want to start the journey, how to make business people understand IT challenges and also how to communicate with them. Vice versa, how the IT people also need to understand business challenges and how to communicate with them. So this is a very impactful in terms of the bringing business and IT together. Then the next one, we call it architecture core. So architecture core is actually about the journey, about particular enterprise setting up the architecture. So you'll be assigned to a particular so-called joining a company, and you are given a 17 scenario. What's happened to the particular enterprise that you are joining? Of course, if enterprise without IT, without enterprise architecture, they will definitely in the firefighting mode. So basically, the CIO also under pressure to reduce the IT budget, and the business people blame the IT people that their sales are inflexible, therefore they cannot close more sales because they cannot change the client. One is locked in order, they cannot change the so-called the volume or quantity or the parameters. So they got many chaotic things. So let me just give you a couple of the scenario. So you'll be going through a 17 scenario. So the first scenario is that on your first day, you bump with the CEO of this particular company. And this particular company, the CEO asking you, oh, Aaron, welcome. I've been waiting for your role for many months. Now, finally, you are here. Next week, I give you 10-minute slot to present what you can do with your enterprise architecture, competency and discovery about our company. So, of course, the first workshop is that we need to prepare 10 minutes presentation to the senior management about what is our finding and present a solution. So, of course, we do a presentation guided. Then after that, it's the first workshop. Then, of course, at the end of the first workshop, the CFO, tell you, Aaron, you have done a good job. I like your proposal. I think you have a spot on. You know all the problem we have, and we like your solution. But we haven't allocated the budget for you. How much money do you need? That will become the workshop number 2. So workshop number 2 is that we need to present to the CFO how much money on effort do we need. And when you talk to the CFO, you cannot talk TCP IP or XML. You need to talk financial terminology. So like net present value, total cost of ownership, ROI, or edit bar, and etc. So we need to be able to communicate a financial terminology to the CFO, because to the CFO don't care about cloud, CFO don't care about TCP IP, CFO don't care about your microservices, CFO also don't care about either you buying any particular vendors. To CFO is that I invest this money, what is my return? So we need to be able to do that. That's workshop number 2. Then workshop number 3 is that quite tough. You need to convince the entire IT team, that about 100 of them, that they have not been following any architecture practice, so they don't have EA. Now you have to tell them how to basically how to tell them, guys, now is the time, we need to change, we need to transform, and we need to send you for training and etc. So we need to convince now the architecture team, the IT team, to follow the architecture. Then workshop number 4, 5, 6, you need to convince the line of business to tell them that you have a value proposition. They need to talk to you. Okay, so this is the typical architecture core. Got 17 of them. It's quite interesting and also tiring, but it's quite rewarding. Then of course you can go to TOGAF, TOGAF 9.2. Then after that, couple with the Archimate. So Archimate, just now Nelson already mentioned about the building block, about the notation, about the language that make I think EA more clarity, and also EA much more simpler than what TOGAF described. But you still cannot skip TOGAF, because TOGAF giving us the fundamental and mindset so that we can stop things when things go misalignment. So TOGAF will help us put us on the track. Then after that, you can go to the BTS. So BTS, something like the mini MBA. So in the BTS is that business technology strategy. This is where you can understand about the decap more on your enterprise. We also need to know our competitor, what they do. We need to know the regulation. We need to know the entire mapping, the entire stakeholders in the enterprise, who has a political attention internally. We need to map that. Let's call about business technology strategy. Then after that, you can go to the specialization of the business information, infra, software, and solution. Okay, I think I haven't told you how many days. This one is the 4 days. The top one, the specialization is 4 days. BTS also 4 days. Archimate is 3 days. TOGAF is 4 days. Architecture core is 4 days, and the BTAF, the bottom part, is 3 days. And of course, we also have one more is architecting software with OAD. This is for the software development team who want to develop a structural approach using UML. And of course, you might think that this course is common. Yes, it is very common. In fact, many of the diploma or poly or university also teaching. But the only uniqueness is that this is a connected modeling scenario. Meaning the workshop, about 12 workshops, are connected into a single case study. So you can see the connectivity. Whereby many books out there, when you buy the book about OAD or UML, they have a disparate, a disconnected scenario. So you can't really build a proper UML modeling. Yeah. All right. So this is all the SCS certification. And let me just continue with the next one. So all the certification that you just now you mentioned in the previous slide has been mapped with the skill future.